Hey, I wanted to do another video and wasn't really sure what to do, so I got a roll of film back recently and kind of liked how it came back. And I thought I'd just chat through, have a little bit of a chat about just whatever came to mind when I was looking at the pictures. So I'm going to go through that. I'll talk a little bit about shooting it on slide film, Fuji Velvia, which is something that I don't use much of. And then just other stuff that I think of when I'm looking at the pictures, photography related or otherwise. So yes, hello, welcome, and let's have a look. So I'm back inside. Probably sounds a little bit different. For most of these shots, I'm just going to show the photo as I got it back. Some with some minor tweaks, which I'm not necessarily going to talk about. There's a couple, like this first one, where I'll show the few little edits I've made. I've shot, in my life a lot more of, color negative films. So I think it's just interesting to see what the color and the contrast and the general look of the slide film is in comparison. So this is one of our local spots near Halls Creek. This is the original, as I got it back from the lab. And then I just made a couple of adjustments there to the color. Brought some highlights back to get more of the blue out of the sky. And again, this one I haven't changed, haven't made any edits. That's just, I quite like the color of Velvia for portraits compared to some other slide films I've used. Here's another one that I've shown the before and after. It came out a little bit dark, I thought, back from the lab. Colors are really nice there, but I've just brightened it up a little bit. Not sure which one I like actually more. Looks like it's a little bit softer after the edits I've made, but maybe I just didn't export the this version as big. That's outside the mechanic in Halls Creek. So that's someone's it's a fairly new car, a FJ Cruiser, and that one's seen better days. But aesthetically, I kind of liked how the discoloration on the panels came out. I'm assuming someone got insurance for that. Here's another one with a before and after. One of the biggest edits I make to my photos is just, I don't really like it when it doesn't look like it's level, so I just straighten them up a little bit. And I've brightened that one up again a tiny bit. 6770, that's our Halls Creek postcode. So a bit of a fan of that artwork there. That's cool. Here's one I haven't made any changes to. That was the Christmas holidays. We went down to Yellingup with some friends. One thing I'll probably mention a couple of times throughout this roll is it went a lot better in low light, kind of handheld, than with slow shutter speeds than I was expecting. Obviously there's a lot of light coming through that window, but it's so backlit. So I think I had a fairly slow shutter speed for that shot to get enough light on Beck. And yeah, I'm just pleased with how that came out for a nice natural looking shot. Here's one, I cropped this a tiny bit and maybe tweaked the color a little bit. I don't know, for me that's, Perth is really, we were down in Perth, not in Halls Creek obviously. Perth is so quiet sometimes out in the street, and this was sort of around the Christmas holidays, so it was literally in this whole space, it was just me and that guy. So as much as I probably should have just gone up to him and sort of been brave and just maybe even asked if I could take the photo and told him to keep working, I just sort of did it from further away. And so there you go, you got a pretty average photo as a result. But again, that was a slow shutter speed because he's standing, I wanted to expose it for the shade, and it came out better than I was expecting. Just a little, I liked the signs there. I don't know if that place is still functional as a karate studio, but I guess it probably is. They got the windows open. This one I liked with the lines and the patterns, and the Telstra sign almost kind of ruins it aesthetically, but I quite also like that it, that you've got that identification and that's a Telstra building, and that's kind of very, I don't know, I feel that's very Perth. Those sort of 80s Telstra buildings that are fairly brutal looking in their design, and they're pretty iconic, I think, so it's kind of actually a nice touch maybe. Here's one, oh yeah, I took some of the purples and pinks out in this just to get it balanced out more. I guess the whole idea of that shot was the grey and the silver coming through in the layers there. I think the person walking through, that's something that maybe I overdo. I try and get someone walking through the shot. Maybe I don't know, it might have even been better without the person walking through. Yeah, funny seeing a car like that in the city. Obviously so many people drive cars like this around the city, and now we're living up somewhere where it's people drive these cars because they kind of need them and need them to get around on dirt roads and stuff, and then you see them in the city and it's a bit odd. But I'm assuming this person has taken it, on the beach or off-road somewhere. It looks pretty serious. Here's another example of, I just really was enjoying this film and lens combo. It was a 35mm f2 lens, which is probably one of my favorites to use. And I quite liked, I don't think I made many adjustments to this, maybe a tiny bit of getting the shadow out of what was on the film, but even though it's quite contrasty, there's a lot of, I don't feel like it's too dark on Beck's face, even under the hat there. That's our apartment building in West Perth, with these really cool trees on the verge, which must be really old. It's probably one of the older apartment buildings in the city area. So it's a spot that I love. And that's inside. And again, probably it's pretty dim in there most of the time, to be honest. It's a pretty cozy little spot. So that would have been fairly low light, a fairly slow shutter speed. It's only 100 speed film, and quite happy with how that came out. This one's different lighting, so we're in a food court inside. I haven't made any changes to that. I kind of just like how wacky that the reds came out in that, with Ari's red glasses and the bubble tea. That was a chicken and rice place, but they did tofu. They had a couple of vegetarian things, and Ari just loves tofu and noodles. Here we are at the museum. I'm going to see if I can remember the name. Bulabardip. Many stories, I think, in Noongar. And this staircase, this golden staircase, is a real draw card, I think, for that building. Again, low light is all through these. These were all kind of probably like 30th of a second, maybe. Real slow shutter speeds in the museum, and they all turned out pretty good, I thought. And the color inside, I thought turned out like pretty true to life, but also just quite pleasing. There's another one, fun game that Ari was playing there in the museum. And there's that staircase again. It's a really beautiful building, the museum. I'm glad that they are, I kept thinking that, Ari was 2 or 3 or 4 when they were building it, and he was missing out on all these prime museum years. But now that it's open, when we're in Perth, it's really great to be able to get in there, and they've done a really good job with it. So it's nice to have something in your city that you're proud of. This is the Princess Margaret Hospital in Subi, and it's being demolished. As you can see, I haven't tweaked these photos. Really happy with the colours, how they came out. I don't think they're too oversaturated, but really vibrant. And that was on my way walking to or from work. There's another angle of it. It's just getting pulled down, and it's going to be replaced with some apartments and some a new development in Subi. But yeah, I wanted to get some better, I guess from a documentary point of view. I thought it was really interesting seeing that pulled down, a building that had been there so long and was so important, I guess, in Perth. I didn't really get many shots of it, but I'm glad I got something. Would have liked to go back maybe and try and get some better angles, but that's a pretty boring shot. That's in Kings Park. There's a Balgus flower stem. And yeah, I went for a walk one day and got this really cool angle of the city from, I guess it shows how big Kings Park is along the bank of the river there, looking back to the city. So it really stretches out a long way. It's amazing to be able to go there for walks and runs. Again, the colours are not, I don't think, oversaturated. So I quite like how the film came out there. I don't think I've made any tweaks to that. Maybe I straightened the horizon. Here's a shop that I wanted to get a picture of for ages, just their sign. Obviously, it's been a while since they've done any accurate typing services, but I don't know. It's just funny that some of the sign is still there and some of it's fallen off. I don't know. So And the air conditioner is really sharp focus there. So yeah, I just liked how the film and the lens came together for some of these shots. This one again, another example that was like really contrasty, but I like the mood. I don't think it's too overly contrasty, and the bus is like the bus lights, Morley bus station, and the number are like super sharp focus again. So that was cool. It's just wandering around the city. I think I straightened that and maybe brought the shadows out a little bit. Going for my overused person walking through the gap again. It's just trying to get the reflection on those plants from a building. That's in West Perth, walking back home. Another West Perth one. It's such a dead part of town after hours when there's, it's all just lunch bars and things. And when people are at work, there's so many people about. But then, when you're living there, it's just so quiet after hours, and on the weekend it's like a ghost town. So at least I'm really happy that the park's there. Bit of life in the park. Oh yeah, I had the before and after. Again, I think I probably saved them slightly to low resolution because it looks way sharper in that unedited one compared to that. But wherever you're watching this, you probably, if you're still with me at this point in the rambling, you probably won't notice it on watching online anyway. There's our building, which I'm just a big fan of, to be honest. The architecture, it's got that weird hat. People call it the green hat building, and it's got solar panels now on the roof of the car parks. So not the roof of the building itself, but that solar is for the common area. Oh, I'm just gonna check my phone. I really hope I'm recording this. Oh, I am recording it. Good. So yeah, the solar and the common spaces and the gates and the presumably like the pool pump and the lift and that sort of thing is all solar power now. So that's really cool. Yeah, again, I maybe made a tiny tweak to this, straightened it a little bit, maybe brightened it a little bit, but have I got an example? Oh yeah, there it is. Just brightened it a little bit by the looks of things. Maybe changed the color slightly. Nice soft look for portraits. Maybe I just had it slightly out of focus. There's Beck's brother, Matt, who's got this, you'll see in the background there, he's built this like really cool little bar situation on the side of their shed. This clever man, and brews actually legitimately delicious beer. So that's something. So nice to get a shot of him in his beer garden. And Ems, yeah, I just like that. The 35mm lens in the film. I'm just repeating myself now, but it comes out really nice. And Ari with some Lego that we built, and it's probably just about the end of the roll. Oh, and Ari took this photo to finish off the roll when we were dropping it off at Silver Halide studio in Mount Lawley, who don't have to send slide film away, which is why I started using them, because they do slide film in-house. So that was really nice to discover that someone in Perth did that. And that's Danny and Joe's car that they lent us while we were down there on holidays. So thanks, Danny and Joe. I don't imagine you're probably still watching 15 minutes in. And that's it. So yeah, that is a roll of Provia with very few shots that I've left out because I didn't like. It was just lots of hits. So yes, thanks for watching, and let me know, send me a message or something if this is the sort of thing that you're interested in, or if I should just stick to filming drives and hikes out in the bush.